May I have a roll call, please?
Manager Tina, present. Linda Gilch.
Here.
Leah Lipscomb.
Here.
Jennifer O'Donnell.
Here.
Alan Reese. Here. Victoria Smith. Here. Elliot Wilson.
Here.
Marianne Johnson. Here. Anthony Marks.
Here. Mr. Miller, the floor is yours for Star students.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marks. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, good evening, everybody. We are happy to be at Glen Landing Middle School. And this evening, I'd like to ask that Mr. Tro, our Assistant Superintendent, kind of facilitate the first two groups. So, Mr. Tro, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Bilodeau. I know this has been an exciting time. We've made some adjustments this year. And this is our first time at Glen Landing as the board rotates around the district, and we like to recognize students and various programs that we have going on in the district and highlight that as we're at this Board of Education meeting, really recognize the great work that our administration, our staff, and most importantly, our students do on a daily basis. So with that, I am going to start turning it over to the principals here at Glen Landing. And then we also have our choose principal who's stepping up shortly. And we will start with our Glen Landing crew. So Ms. Jones, if you would come forward. And one of the things the board does as part of this, as she comes up, is we do have certificates for each of the students that are participating tonight. And so we will give those to her to distribute to you as you head out the door tonight. But Ms. Jones.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming and welcome to Glen Landing. We're excited tonight for this opportunity to acknowledge some of the accomplishments, some of our students and staff. Thank you to the Board of Education for this opportunity again, Mr. Bilodeau, Mr. Tro, Dr. Martin. We appreciate having the opportunity to highlight some of our star students. Here at Glen Landing, we pride ourselves on being flexible, persistent, and supportive. These characteristics push our students and staff to be their best, strive for excellence, and to also seek progress in all areas of the school community. That's socially, mentally, and academically. Our choir, under the dedication and innovation of the one and only Ms. Donna Halpin, has challenged themselves to perform on a great level. She's exposed our students to experiences that foster dreaming and growing. Here to tell you more about the choir's accomplishments is the director and educator extraordinaire, Ms. Donna Halpin.
I swear I dress like this every day. This is exactly how it is. Thank you very much. So our choir this year did a couple of really cool things. We sang for the Veterans Day for our Veterans Day celebration. If you come out to our concert, you'll be able to hear that song for us. The second thing we did is we formed at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and our students were on television. And coming soon, our students were actually just recently asked to do the Cherry Blossom Parade in Washington, D.C. So that was very exciting because they did not pick everybody to perform. They only picked a select few of those people to perform. So we were very excited about that. But our biggest accomplishment this year was so far, yes, because I'm taking this trip on the road. Our biggest accomplishment this year is that we entered the B101 contest, and we were fortunate enough for the first time in my 14 years of doing this to make it to the top 9, which was on radio. So we were up against some pretty tough competition. There are clubs that meet 5 days a week. There are schools, they actually have a program within their schools. We meet 1 day a week. Sometimes if we're all here, they have you can see they're all involved in many different things. So if you would grant us the permission, we would love to sing you that song right now. That got us to actually the top 7. We were 7 out of the tri-state area, which was over, I found out today, over 275 choirs.
Okay, now I have the distinct pleasure of turning it over to a gentleman who tried out for this choir and was cut. And so as his consolation prize, he became the principal at Hughes Elementary School. Mr. Williams has a nice presentation to recognize several of the students and the work being done at Hughes Elementary School.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all cities. I'm Mr. Williams, principal at Hughes Elementary. This is Mrs. Kidd, our assistant principal, board, and the rest of our leaders. Thank you so much for this night to recognize some students. Before I get started, I'd like to call them up. We'll start with Hunter Henry. Megan Well. And here, Brian. All right, so throughout Gloucester Township, not just at Hughes, I know this is the time that we like to give to those who, with a little extra help, will have a brighter holiday spirit. So I know each school is doing something, but at Hughes, if you had a chance to look at the slide, one of the slides, we had a tree. The tree was empty at the time, but we had, we call it our giving tree. For our giving tree, we had 37 tags on it. So 37 families had a wish list. And out of those 37, we had some parents from our school volunteer to buy gifts for each of those families. In total was 85 students. In another slide, we had 2 teachers that were bagging all the gifts in our conference room. They are the ones who are put in charge of all of our giving. One of the teachers, Mrs. Perrine, she said, you know what? We have 3 students who are difference makers. And here are our 3 students. So briefly, I'll share a little bit about each student. The first one, Hunter Henry. So earlier in the year, we had a coin drop or a food drive, right? When he heard about that, he created a video discussing the food drive and also the importance of donating. Then he used some of his Halloween candy, or probably all of it, and he said, hey, Mom, Dad, take this and some others. Please take this to your job and see if people will donate for some candy. After it was all said and done, the amount that he had donated and given to choose exceeded the amount the entire school had given. Liam Wells, love that smile. Today, all right, so Liam Wells, awesome. He and his family are donating all the time to Unforgotten Hate. It's a local nonprofit organization, and actually they were featured as one of the donors on their website. Mr. Brian asked, it's like, I didn't know you were giving. It's always giving and donating. It makes me feel good. Besides, if I have, why not the next person? Liam Welsh. So with her Girl Scout troop, Girl Scouts are always helping out people, but this time they went one step further. They created kitten boxes for them that were made of wood. They had to spray paint them, and they were for shelters for our homeless cats throughout the community. So thank you for doing that. I would purr and maybe a little meow, but I don't think that would sound right. But if we cheer for these 3 right here. Fundraising and doing community service. So we thank you for being our shining star students, and thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Thank you again.
Mr. Chair, before you start, can I interrupt real quick? There's some along characteristics. Sure. Can I also have the parents of every star student stand up and be recognized for the outstanding job you've done with your children? Thank you. All right, Mr. Trump.
So those, we took the picture of the choir earlier, our 3 representatives from Choose. If you'll hang around afterwards, we want to get a couple pictures that we can put on our website to share with the community at large. And at this point, I am going to turn it over to Mr. Bilodeau. We have one more student to recognize. That's a unique recognition tonight in this holiday season.
Thank you, Mr. Trout. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Well, this is something that was created by superintendent that I'm fond of a few years back. We had received in the board office a Christmas card from Black Horse Pike Regional School District showing the talents of their art students in the high schools. And it showed, you know, a wonderful card. They have wonderful machines and great talented kids that more than likely came to all our schools. And I said to myself, why aren't we doing a Christmas card? So Mrs. Ulrich, who was my assistant, then said, well, you're the superintendent, why don't you do a Christmas card competition? And so it started out with our 3 middle schools. And we've been doing it ever since. And, you know, I like to give the particular artist who does the card recognition. And every year, it's fascinating the number of cards that are really talented students from Ann Mullen, Charles W. Lewis, and this school, Glenlane Middle School, all do for the district. And so, of course, then there's a judging. And that's difficult because it's close. But every year there has to be one winner. And this year's winner, and her name, and I'm going to bring her up and embarrass her in a minute. But I just want to let you know this is the actual card that was created. And what we do with the card is I hand it over to one of our talented staff members who takes it and puts the name of the Board of Education inside it, its central administration, and then we go ahead and send it out to a lot of key communicators in our community and important groups that should get a card. And last week I had the pleasure of going down and embarrassing this young lady. I grabbed Mr. Klein and I said, tell me where this young lady is, and he says, oh, she's down in R right now. I said, let's go. So we went down, and in front of her peers, I gave her a little on the spot recognition, but tonight, in front of the Board of Education, and all of you, I wanted to bring up Kaylee Evans from Glenland. So Kaylee, one of the things that I'm a little bit delinquent on here, but I'm gonna get it to you, okay? Here is your recognition for SAR student. Here is your original artwork, okay? And I wanna let you know that I have 10 more copies over there. So if anyone would like, the first 10 people, don't rush the board table. I'd like to give them as part of the winning, because I always think it's intellectual property. If you don't know what that is, ask Mr. Long. The Board of Education is giving you also a $50 gift card. That is not here, but you will have it tomorrow morning, okay?
Very nice.
Mr. Marks, that concludes the STAR Students Program, but I would ask Mr. Williams, our trusty photographer is in Florida this evening. So if you could do me, Mrs. Hendry, could you please assemble those students from Choose along with their administration and parents, maybe somewhere in the building. Earlier, we had Mr. Tro and Mrs. Jones and Ms. Halpin all do the photo of the choir, so their photos already been taken. And Mrs. Jones, I would like for you to also take care of Kaylee Evans with a picture of her parents as well. Can you do that for me, please? Okay, thank you, everybody. We're gonna take about a 10-minute break and then reconvene for the business portion of the December meeting. You're all welcome to stay, but it's also a good segue to leave. Over here, there are waters and juices and cookies, hopefully for the students, but enjoy it. And thanks for coming out. Have a great holiday.
Yeah, okay, so, oh my God, back where we came from, after that.